And the story begins with, we see our protagonist who sat in front of the grave offering drink to it. We get to know our MC name is Chu Fan. He remembers the three things Old Man asked him before he died. First thing, he must protect the village for 5 years and kill the demon clan's leader. Then he can leave the village and don't need to come back. Second thing was, he has to go to Bai family to marry Bai Ling Shan, as Old Man already negotiated a marriage contract for him. And the last one, unless there is a life and death crisis. Other than that, he can't use his superpowers. Chu Fan says to the grave of the old man, as he had killed the demon clan's leader, it's time for him to leave the village, and he is going to fulfill his another wish, which is to marry Bai Ling Shan. And he started moving. We see three people spying him from the bushes. Each of them report to their individual leaders that they had found that person, a woman in red dress, by receiving this news. She is in hurry to meet Fan and throw away the contract papers. By seeing this, her manager beside her, ask Miss, as this contract is tens of billion. She asked her to stop annoying her and asked her to prepare a vehicle for her immediately. At the same time at different place, a guy was bowing to a girl and asked her to forgive him. This one says he won't repeat this mistake again. She, by moving towards him, says as a betrayer he had no right to live and says her man to kill him. She, by receiving the news about Fan, asks his subordinate to prepare a vehicle for her. And at another location, were soldiers fighting furiously with the monsters? We see a woman who leading the soldiers. One of the soldiers refer her as a leader and asked her, as they are to many demons, they can't kill them all. So what they had to do in this situation, she commanded Dragon Wild Army to follow her command. They, with their leader, started killing demons, and she also received the news of Fan. And these three women are intensely waiting to meet our MC Chu Fan. Fan, by arriving near the Bai family mansion, stood in front of their gate. By seeing him, Bai family butler asked him, is he Chu Fan? And says him to wait. Fan, by seeing this mansion, think, just in 5 years Bai family has become like this. Butler, by seeing Fan touching the surrounding things, asks him to not touch those things with his dirty hands. They, by arriving at the main door, Fan sees to open the door, but Butler stops him from opening the door and asks him to wait, as there is a guest inside the house. He says Fan to not offend the guest. Fan looks at him with his sharp gaze and asks him, is this how they treat a guest? Butler replies Fan, he was just an ignorant guy, and asks Fan, what made him to deserve same treatment? We see two persons entering from that door, and the guy refer the women beside him as Ling Shan, and ask her as to come with him, as Taste Pavilion has few new 100 dishes. He, by seeing Fan, asked him who he was. Fan says her, as he was here to fulfill his engagement with her. By hearing two Fan words, the guy in suit get angry and kicks Fan in his abdomen, and asked Fan what engagement as a trash he was talking about, as he had not even worth his shoes and dared to marry Ling Shan. Fan get frustrated and red light is emanating from his eyes, he think, as Old Man said him before, to not attack any ordinary people. He says Fan, if weren't for Ling Shan, a trash like him wasn't even worth mocking. Fan gets from the ground. That man asks Ling Shan he will help her to teach this trash a lesson. She, by taking marriage contract from her pouch which is hanging to her wrist, thrown that contract paper to the ground, and call off the engagement with Fan. By seeing this anger enveloped from Fan face, and a purple aura started emanating from his body, and says to Ling Shan in an angry tone, he never thought Old Man spent his whole life and used to help Bai family change destiny. But in the end, he saved a white-eyes wolf. The guy in the suit stepping his foot on the marriage contract, mockingly asked Fan, does he really want to spend life, change his destiny? This words made Chu Fan really pissed off. He, glaring into his face, asked that guy, say it again to him. That guy started laughing towards Chu Fan words and asked him what he will do if he say those words again. He, by mockingly hitting Fan, says he deserves to die. Fan, by seeing this all, he couldn't control his anger and says sorry to Old Man, as he can't bear this insults anymore. We see there is a sudden car entering into the Bay mansion and stopped in front of them. By seeing this, Bay family butler shouted, who are they? Guards surrounded that car, and a beautiful, stunning lady stepped out of that car. Her manager, along with guards, greeted that lady. She, by removing her goggles, says to Chu Fan, as it's been long time to see her junior brother. The guy in the suit asked that lady who she was and why she barged into the Bay family. He shouted at his guards to beat them. They, by hearing their young master command, started running towards her to beat them. She gathered a powerful energy into her hands and asked them. They dare to ridicule her junior brother and says then they deserve to die, and launches a powerful energy towards them, which formed a large coin above them. She, by using her power, started to pressure them to kneel to the ground and asked them to kneel. They, to that coin pressure, kneel to the ground. One of the guards says to young Master Su, who is beside him, to quickly ran away as she is an expert we can't dealt with. He, by hearing to his words, says them, they are just trash who can't deal with women. He asks them to immediately beat that woman. By hearing to their words, she sees she was too kind to them and started to apply more pressure on them. Elder of Bay family came out and asked the young lady, using power in Bay family territory is very disrespectful for them, and he, by using his power, simply destroyed that coin, and says it's fortune technique, asked her. Where hint, she was the chairman of Hung Fu Consortium, Miss Huang Fu Yi Qiu. We get to know the lady name was Yi Qiu. By hearing to their words, the guy in the suit gets shocked and asks could it be she was a leads China's logistics and shipping industries? And in just 3 years, the one who made Huang Fu Consortium the #1 family in High City, the old man respects her and say Miss Huang Fu's visit to this humble residence really makes his Bai family happy. Huang Fu says to Bai Elder, why would she come here for Bai family as she came here to see her junior brother and started hugging Fan tight to her melons? By seeing this, the guy in the suit shouted, as for a trash like him, Miss Huang Fu came here. He think it's exaggerating. By hearing to his words, she asked him in an infuriated voice, who gives him right to say things about her junior brother? And she ordered her guards to bring them. Guards started to bring large boxes, which contains a large amount of gold bars, jewelry, treasures. By seeing this, Bai family gets shocked. She says to them, as she know Bai family is in need of money, and it's enough for her junior brother betrothal gift, Bai family elder. Get stupor by seeing those things, she asked her manager for the paper and says to Bai elder, as long as they abide by the engagement, they will also get a share, 5% of Huang Fu Group. Bai elder gets shocked by seeing the contract paper, Ling Shan replied to Lady Huang. She was sorry, as she can't accept this marriage proposal. She asked Huang, she knows how women would feel if she is forced to marry a stranger. Huang gets angry towards her words and says to Shan, what stranger, as his grandfather saved her Bai family's life? Chu Fan asked her, did she forget the engagement she signed with his grandfather? She says to Fan, as his grandfather did it willingly to help them, and they didn't force him to help Bai family. By hearing to her words, Chai Fan get frustrated, as he never thought that old man saved White-Eyed Wolf. He, by crushing the marriage contract paper in his hand, says her, from today onwards, her Bai family will sever all ties with him, and he burn out the contract, started to leave, and says, their Bai family may be prosperous, may the head of their family live long life, greeted farewell to them, and started to leave. Huang Fu immediately hugs Chu Fan tightly from his back and says to him, as Bai family don't want him, but his senior sister want him. By seeing this, Su family young master curses at Fan, and Bai elder started to feel pain in his chest. Ling Shan and young master Su get shocked and asks, Elder Bai what happened to him? He, by vomiting the blood from his mouth, collapsed to the ground. Shan gets shocked and shouted at Fan, how dare he harm her grandfather? Shan immediately gives a healing pill to her grandfather. She gets shocked by seeing her grandfather have stopped breathing. Young Master Su shouted by showing index finger toward Fan, as he was one who cursed the Bai family head to death. Huang, sitting in the car, seeing this all, made a promise with the master. Do they think there won't be any penalty? Ling Shan shouts at Fan, as he was still planned to run away after he harmed her grandfather, and orders Bai family guards to beat him. Huang, by seeing this, gets out of the car, takes few coins. By using her power shots those coins at guards coming towards Fan. Young Master Su shouts at Fan, as they still attacking them after they harmed Bai family head. Tears coming from Ling Shan eyes, asked Fan, as she never thought that he is someone like this. He harmed her family and killed her grandfather, she asked him. Does her death will satisfy him? Huang asked Fan. Do he want her to kill that old man? Fan replied her, as he don't want to cause trouble here. She came so close to Fan, and Fan feels embarrassed and says she was too close to him. She asks him, does it really feel embarrassed to him? But he is so cute, Fan says to Sean, as he had never harmed Bai family head. He just fell ill because he broke the promise he made with the old man, Fan assured them. He can save him, Huang also tells them, as her junior brother knows a little about medicine. So she asks them, let Fan try to cure Bai family head. Sean, by hearing to this, shouts with an anger, as Fan is the reason for her grandfather to be in this state, and she is still want to humiliate his body. We see person coming for back of them. Su family young master recognized him as Divine Dr. Gi from Yang League, as he can give life to dead people. He see now best shy family head can be saved. Divine Dr. Gi, check the pulse of Bai family head. Shan Bai see this. Begs Dr. Gi to save his grandfather. Dr. Gi gets shocked and says them, as his triple burner is silent and vitality is gone. He is afraid her grandfather is really dead. By hearing to this, Fan asked Dr. G, let him take a look at him. Dr. J get frustrated by this and ask Fan, who give him guts to say anything, as he thinks his medical skills are not good, and shows his divine needle to Fan and activate the divine needle on vitality point of B elder. After activating it, he coughs some blood and returned back to life. Shun sees her grandfather back to life and asks him how he feels now. Fan say Bei elder remaining energy was exhausted and say them, Bei family head probably can't even be left with perfect corpse. Dr. Gi got irritated by this and asked Fan, what he knows? Shan shouted at Fan as he still want to curse her grandfather to death. Huang Fu interrupting them, ask her, do they know Qinleng? Dr. Guy replies to Huang, as he knows Qinleng, who became divine doctor in a young age. She was famous all over the world, and she was also known as the master of apricot forest. Even though he was not matched to her medical skills, Huang assured them as Fan is a junior brother of Dr. Qinleng. Do he think his medical skills will be bad? Shan says her, as it does change the fact he harmed her grandfather. Bai family head again coughs some blood from his mouth. Fan immediately activate his power and try to cure the Bai family head. Shan asks him what he was doing to her grandfather. Fan released some of his energy to the old man. By seeing this, Shan shouts at Fan to stop. Old man coughs the blood and falls back. Dr. Yi see the Bai elder life essence was gone, and now there is no hope left. By hearing to this, Shan immediately took her sword to kill Fan. Huang also took her sword and asked her not to interfere, as her junior brother can still save her grandfather, and a small collision happened between them as Shan trying to kill Huang, who interfered in killing Fan, and Huang stop her from interfering Fan treatment. Bai family head says Shan to stop her fight with Huang, as they can't disrespect their benefactor. Dr. Ge gets shocked by sudden recovery of Bai elder. Huang says Fan, as her junior brother, he is indeed amazing. Bai family head thanked Fan for saving him, and says Fan, as Bai family don't forget their promise about engagement and try to say something to him, but Fan interrupt him and asked him not to talk about the engagement, as they are the one who broke it, as he was just here to fulfill his old man wish, and started to leave. Huang ordered her manager to prepare vehicle. As they are heading to Qinshin Medical Clinic, Huang asked Fan, let them go to see his senior sister. They headed in a car. Fan and Huang sat opposite to each other and started talking with each other. Huang touches her leg to Fan leg. By this, Fan get embarrassed and asked his senior sister to not do this kind of things to him. Huang smiles at Fan for his embarrassed face. They see the car was suddenly got stopped, and we see a group of people shouting in front of the clinic, and a lady in front shouted Dr. Quack to give her husband back to life.